Okay, call this meeting order.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to welcome everybody tonight. We're going to skip over our minutes. We're going to go right to M&J Engineering, Architects, Landscape Architecture, and Land Surveying, PCs. They're here to put on the report of the Main Street project that we've asked them to do. And I've read the preliminary report, and I feel they've done a pretty good job. But gentlemen, we'll step down, and Jack, you want
Great, yeah, sure.
Okay.
So I'm Jack Mance. I'm with the Adirondack Glens Falls Transportation Council, AGFTC. Been a couple years since we've been up here, so it's good to be back. I just wanted to kind of go over like housekeeping, admin stuff. This plan that we're going to be talking about comes through AGFTC's office, so it came at no cost to the town. We worked with Supervisor, DPW, Warren County, NISDOT, and our, ooh, it's real dark now. I will just imagine your smiling faces. No, so this plan itself does not obligate the town to do anything. We really want to emphasize this is really just information for you so that you can make decisions moving forward. Sometimes we get these reports and we get these big scary cost estimates and it's like, oh God, what do we got to do now? You don't have to do anything. It's really just so you can make decisions. After tonight, we, because this came through our AGFTC office, we have to follow our own procedures for public comment and stuff. So we'll be posting this to our website, our Facebook page tomorrow. I will send the link to the clerks. If you guys want to post it to your website, that'd be great. If you've got social media, that'd be great. Get a little more attention. We'll leave it up for about 30 days for public comment. And then at that point, if any revisions need to be made or tweaks, we'll do that. And then it's yours to use how you see fit. If you want to endorse it, if you want to adopt it, you can. You don't have to. They like it when you do, but again, no obligations. So with that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it over to our team from MJ, who you can imagine their smiling faces, who will actually go through what's in the report so that when you do get a chance to read it, you know what you're looking for. So.
All right. My name is Mark Piscatlo. I'm an engineer at MJ.
I'm Connor Dietrich. I'm also a design engineer at MJ Engineering.
So as Jack mentioned, we were given the task of preparing a complete streets report. Well, what's complete streets? And the idea behind complete streets is to make the streets acceptable for all users, not just vehicles. So bicycles, pedestrians, and vehicles. So we'll start off with talking about what went into the report. There was a study team. We had an overview. We're going to discuss some concepts and then how we could go about implementing some of these concepts, and then just some questions and answers at the end. Jack mentioned that the sponsor was the Adirondack Glens Falls Transportation Council. We're the consultant, MJ Engineering. The steering committee included the town of Warrensburg, which included Councilman Alexander and Mayor Garrity, and State DOT, Warren County Planning, and Lake Champlain, Lake George Regional Planning Board. This was a limit to the project. Route 9 Main Street started at the north end on 4th Avenue and went all the way south to the bridge over the Schoon River. So our objectives. We want to create a safe environment for all modes, like I mentioned, not just vehicles. Improve the on-street parking on the corridor. That was something that was brought up several times by the steering committee. Improve the sidewalks and crosswalks for safe pedestrian access. Enhance the look of the corridor with gateway features to create a more attractive and sustainable environment. And the end goal is to develop a plan that the town can use to pursue funding opportunities. State DOT it does a lot of funding opportunities that you could use this plan as background information to go after that grant funding. So you're going to see some numbers in here for prices, but not the town would not be burdened with 100% of that funding. It'd probably be closer to 10 or 20% of that amount, and then the 80% would be federal funding. Just a brief overview of the existing conditions and what we did. The roadways, physical characteristics, lanes and functional class, but what's the existing pedestrian accommodations? Looking at, obviously the sidewalks, the Americans with Disabilities Act accommodations to support those sidewalks. We did some parking studies. We counted parking during weekends, during the summer, and weekdays. Existing traffic, we had traffic counts done at major intersections throughout the Route 9 corridor. Crash history, MJ has access to the Department of Motor Vehicles database for crash history, and we can pull historical data and look for patterns of crashes, which we really didn't have too much on Main Street. And then environmental resources, but permitting and cultural resources are there too. So physical characteristics, I guess I went through all these. So what do we identify as issues? There's limited right-of-way to accommodate all of the users. Now, right-of-way is Route 9 is a state-owned road. The state right-of-way actually extends behind the curb, usually includes the sidewalks. A good rule of thumb when you're looking at a road and trying to figure out where the public right-of-way is, power poles are usually put at the farthest end of the right-of-way. So this is just a general rule of thumb when you're trying to, you're out in the field and looking for how far does the public right-of-way go. The on-street parking lane width, we went to George Henry's for dinner tonight. We parked in front of the Ford dealership there. And while we did not pull up on the curb, there were vehicles that did. That was one of the observations we noticed in there, that while maybe a larger vehicle felt uncomfortable just parking on the shoulder, or didn't feel comfortable parking on the shoulder, they mounted their right-hand tires up on the curb. So there's some perception of parking, lack of width for parking. We looked at all the intersection operations. Several of the intersections were missing crosswalks and missing pedestrian signals. Now, state DOT has a policy that a traffic signal usually has a 30-year useful life, and they plan on replacements or rebuilds of those traffic signals on a periodic basis, unless there's some other kind of construction job. But those are ways that the intersections can be brought up to modern technology with vehicle detection and pedestrian equipment. We have obstructed pedestrian sight distance. The crossings that exist for pedestrians, they are sometimes in the middle of parking lanes, and if cars are parked close to the crosswalk, it may be difficult for drivers on the road to see a pedestrian who attempts to cross the road. So it was just an issue we identified, and we're going to try to address that later. Possibly due to a lack of mid-block crossings or sufficient number, there was some jaywalking going on that we observed, where people were crossing wherever they felt they wanted to. It'd be better if they had a more dedicated way to cross, and we're going to look at trying to enhance that. ADA is Americans with Disabilities Act. The curb ramps for wheelchair accessibility. There's a lot of driveways on Main Street which are points of conflict between vehicles and pedestrians. So by eliminating some of the driveways, you can eliminate some of the points where there's conflicts between those two entities. Wayfinding signage. There was a couple of locations where we thought some additional signage could enhance that at the public parking area and even on the gateway into the town when you're coming off the Northway and cross the river, the Spoon River Bridge. So what's the plan? We're looking at doing some intersection improvements. Talked about the curb ramps and crosswalks. Access management would be trying to eliminate some of the many driveways, possibly looking at parking lane improvements, the overall corridor improvements, and then I mentioned the gateway signage. And this was the plan that the process that we went through. We've gone through all these 6 steps. We're at the final concept. We've done the final concept revisions after receiving comments from the steering committee. And we're here just today to give you the overall summary on it. As Jack mentioned, the report will be posted online, but there's I think well over 100 pages of report and supporting data that will be available for the public to see. Connor's going to go over the corridor plan.
Yep. So we looked at 4 main intersections as part of the study. As you can see, the first intersection is the 5-leg intersection at Main Street, Adirondack, Hudson, and Elm. Some of the main components of what we were proposing were 88 curb ramps at all crossings at the intersection, pedestrian signals to accompany the signalized crossings, curb extensions, which are basically also known as curb bump outs, which reduce the pedestrian crossing distance and making it safer. And then another component that we looked at was realigning Hudson Street. So it's kind of hard to tell on the plan, but the existing curb kind of extends out a little bit further than what is shown there. So we just kind of pulled it back just to make it so the movement off of Main Street is a little bit less janky. And then another component that we looked at was adding a left turn lane to the northbound Main Street approach. And this left turn lane, based on the existing width of the road, you can basically fit this without, you don't have to install a new curb, you can fit it within the existing pavement. It's just going to be striping basically. So that's that intersection. The next intersection that we looked at was Main Street and Stuart Farrar over by the Stewarts. Today, there's 2 crossings that currently cross Main Street. For this recommendation, we're recommending to remove one of the crossings. And the thought process behind that is you have 2 crossings, you're having more pedestrians crossing different locations. It's just basically to reduce the conflict points for pedestrians and vehicles. But same kind of, most of these intersection plans kind of have the same concept. We looked at curb extensions, for the same reasons, to reduce crossing distance.
The curb extension is this area right here.
Yep, you can see kind of where the top right, that's where the existing curb is. We'd be bumping it out about, it's like 6 feet. So you're reducing about 6 feet of crossing distance. It's just less time for a vehicle to come in conflict with the pedestrian. And then we did Main Street and Richards. So this is a signalized intersection over by the Sunoco. For this intersection, same thing. Looked at curb extensions. Another thing that I didn't touch on in the last intersection was the hat striping. So like Mark mentioned before, the sight distance was an issue that we observed. And the solution to doing that is basically not allowing parking close to the pedestrian crosses. So that allows enough distance for a vehicle to be able to see a pedestrian crossing. For this, we also recommended pedestrian signals at each of the crossings, and we also recommended for the Sunoco, their existing driveway basically goes out to pretty much where the intersection is. And we were recommending basically extending the curb, so minimizing the width of the entrance, so you don't have vehicles basically exiting right out into the intersection. Obviously, that's something that would have to get, talk to the property owner and figure out what is best for them. But that was just something that we put as a conceptual idea. And then the last intersection is Water Street and Horicon, or by George Henry's, what we were talking about. And same deal, all ADA sidewalks, curb ramps, pedestrian signals, and yeah. In addition to intersection improvements, we were looking at what we could do corridor wide. And two things that we kind of identified were the narrow parking lanes and, the narrow parking lanes. And we came up with two different ways to kind of increase the width of what you already have out there. So the first way is between 4th Ave and the Adirondack, Hudson, and Elm intersection. There's travel lanes that kind of vary in width from like 12 to 12 and a half feet. If you were to restripe the center line of the road, you'd gain about 1 foot extra parking lane width. So that was something that we identified. And then in addition to striping, we looked at curb relocations, which there's a lot of segments throughout Main Street that have like a 2 to 3 foot grass buffer strip between the sidewalk and the curb. Those were areas that we identified that you could potentially move back the curb and put it right up on the sidewalk, and that would gain you about 3 feet of parking lane width if that is so desired. Another thing to consider with the curb relocations, if you're relocating the curb, you have the existing drainage on the curb, so that would also have to be modified. So just something that we wanted to mention.
Talking about eliminating this grass strip and moving the curb right up to the back of the sidewalk. However, then you need to extend this drainage structure and move it over. That's the drainage work that would need to be done.
For future maintenance, it's just basically an overview of what would have to be maintained as part of if this project was something to come to fruition, which would just be the roadway striping, the sidewalks, obviously snow removal, the ped signals and traffic signals, and then the grass buffer strip, whether it's staying or moving or whatever is decided.
Most, if not all, those would be DOT's responsibility.
Yes. Yeah, because Main Street, it's US Route 9, it's maintained and owned by DOT. We identified a couple other streets in our study that were also owned and maintained by DOT as well as Warren County. And then the remaining roads are owned and maintained by the town of Warrensburg.
So what's next? Well, I mentioned that this is a report where you could then use to seek grant funding. The town can apply for funding to support the design and construction of actual plans, engineered plans. In the report, Chapter 5 has a implementation plan. So again, that report will be available online apparently tomorrow on the AGFTC website. And the collaboration with DOT will be a key component on implementation. And one thing I just wanted to bring to your attention, I mentioned it to the mayor before the meeting, is that the intersection of Hudson, Elm, and Adirondack with Main Street, the striping that we propose is something that DOT could do the next time that they pave or mill and pave Route 9. And then we'd have a striping plan that you could show to them and say, we'd like to implement this. We're going to need some changes to the traffic signal and maintained by DOT, but that communication with DOT, it would be very important in that aspect and knowing their paving schedule. So there's a gentleman that's in charge of planning at DOT in Albany, named Greg Wisher, and they usually do a 5-year plan for construction projects. We're looking forward 5 years, and some contact with DOT to determine if when Route 9 paving is going to be done. Is it within that 5-year plan or not? So don't get scared about these dollars. I told you the town's not going to need to come up with all this money, but this is our planning level cost estimates for the intersection improvements that we mentioned. So this includes work zone traffic control, survey, mobilization, contingencies, construction inspecting, design costs. So this is a comprehensive cost. It does not include right-of-way, but for the most part, right-of-way is not going to be needed for the plans that we're showing. So And then the overall corridor, where we talked about possibly moving some curb lines, doing some restriping. And then the simple gateway sign. But we didn't really touch on the location, but I mentioned it earlier, but the entranceway into the town, right after you come over the bridge, it seems to be a nice green, flat landscape area on the right. Welcome to Warrensburg sign, maybe some nice flowers underneath or some kind of shrubbery. And then the parking area at Richards, trying to make the public aware that there is public parking there. The sign we felt was inadequate as it exists today, but making people who maybe are unfamiliar with the area know that there is public parking. That's it from us, but we're open to any questions that anybody might have.
I'm concerned, John, the northbound bandstand, like we call it, the highway, left turn, we've been after for years.
Yep.
I assume it's gonna be a delayed light, left turn light for traffic, right? We'll fit that in there.
If, from my knowledge of the correspondence between the town and DOT did not want to put a left turn arrow in without the left turn lane.
Right, but that makes sense, but that's, we all know there's not room there, what's the local know there's not room there.
Right.
Or it's not the one.
It's also illegal to drive on the shoulder, but people do it, right? So cars can get around, but when you're doing design work, you have to design for the legal aspect of it, not just what people will do. So, yes.
The DOT would be on board with getting us move the light, delayed light or traffic light.
Yes.
And also that Stuart Farrar, that one you showed in your address with the crosswalk, one crosswalk that nobody sees. I'm amazed that people will stay in there for minutes on end and people just drive right it. I see, I get your point about standing back the parking because they're real dangerous. That's probably the most dangerous where there's not a light, like the blocking. Is it possible to think about maybe putting flashing lights on?
Sure.
Yeah, when they're dangerous.
I just want to go to the legal aspect of it. The vehicle and traffic law says that an unsignalized crosswalk, like the ones here, pedestrian has the right of way. So pedestrian basically steps off the curb, traffic is supposed to stop. All the lights do is provide additional warning to the drivers. It's not a regulatory or it's not like a traffic signal is a regulatory device. The lights that flash on those, we call them rectangular rapid flash beacons, are amber in color. It's a warning. They're not red. So it's just an enhancement to make drivers aware that a pedestrian may be crossing at the
I'm
crosswalk.
just amazed that one particular crosswalk, it's like camouflage. No one sees it, and people just drive on through it until finally someone gets to the point where someone walks out, takes their lights in their hand almost and crosses out. Oh, boy, this is a crosswalk. So,
In my days when I was employed at DOT, we had Walk Your Kids to School Day that we would do presentations for children how to actually press a button at a traffic signal and wait for the crosswalk signal. But one of the things I tried to stress was that as a pedestrian, you need to make eye contact with that driver. If that driver's not looking at you, they don't see you. So if they don't see you, they're not going to stop. So you're not going to want to step out in front of a car unless that you make sure that driver sees that you're there. But,
and then lastly, I'm in favor of getting rid of that 2-foot
buffer strip.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
People lose their mirrors all day long northbound. But if you just absorb that, does your cost factor take in the idea of getting rid of storm drains and whatnot, moving them back?
Yeah, that was included in our cost. But if it was as simple as moving the curb, that it'd be allotted. But with the closed drainage system and having the drop inlets there, that's an additional excavation, moving over, repiping the system. But it can be done, certainly. Yes, sir.
I noticed you had by the bandstand on Route 9, you had it painted off there for no parking, right? Is that what-
Right.
Yeah,
On occasion, we have a railway stop there and see some people walking out. How do you dress up like that?
you're saying in the corner where the hatching stripe is?
That's what they do, I don't.
But they stop basically right at
Yeah.
the intersection.
Yeah, the bandstand is down.
Okay.
Yeah,
We don't have any other issues, I
Spot
know.
for 'em.
yeah, it's a drop, it's a spot, it's a designated area for fairways.
Okay.
Out there.
That's good
Issues
to know.
like that would be worked out in final design. As you advance the design stage, the contact with whether it's trailways or any other public transportation, you go through the secret process for that.
Yeah,
We'll make sure that the report notes it so that we don't lose
Yeah,
that
we can do
idea.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
they're gonna park there.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
no,
Yeah,
it's
exactly. Yeah.
Or move their designated spot to someplace else.
Yes, sir.
What about the lowering the speed limit on Main Street? I mean, a couple of cities around here have done it, 25 miles an hour. And I don't know if any of you ever had the pleasure of driving through Woodstock, Vermont, but they have a big sign out there that says 25 miles an hour, and it means 25, not 26.
Well,
I
Vermont,
mean,
Vermont's something different, but in the state of New York, the speed limits are the method to setting speed limits are governed by the vehicle and traffic law for the state of New York. And they recently changed where the lowest speed limit that can be applied in cities, instead of being 30, is now 25. And I think Saratoga is in the process or has already done 25 miles an hour. Schenectady's done it, Albany's done it.
they didn't.
Yes, but for towns and villages, it's still 30 miles an hour is the lowest posted speed limit, except for school zones. You can go 10 miles lower than that in the school zone. So, not in the village.
I have some comments. I live on Main Street, right across from Richards Avenue. My driveway is right straight ahead by the traffic light. People come up that shoulder, lickety split. I can't go into my driveway from the shoulder because I can't make that tight turn with the storm drain and then the hedge that's along the driveway that belongs to the neighbor.
Okay.
I have to turn in from the driving lane. And I had my flasher on one night and I went to turn in my driveway and some woman zipped right up that
The shoulder,
the
they passed you
shoulder
on the
and
right?
I hit her car.
Hmm.
And I said, didn't you see my turn signal? She said, yes, but I didn't think you were gonna turn there. So anyway, her car got damaged, but that's very dangerous. They're always passing on that shoulder. And if you take the grass, the curb where the grass is out and move it to the sidewalk, it's just gonna be even wider for them to come up there. And with snow removal,
Yes,
it'll all be plowed up onto the sidewalk.
I agree.
And then the sidewalk plow's gonna blow it all up in my yard.
Well, but
Snow removal is a big problem for me because the plow just keeps filling in the end of the driveway. I'm out there all the time. in snow.
yeah, that heavy wet snow out there too.
So I'm not looking forward to this. And plus, the last time they dug up Main Street, my father was county superintendent for highways, and he grew up in that house. And he said that it's built on bedrock. And our ceiling collapsed upstairs in the hall because of the vibrations.
Wow.
I feel every big truck that goes by if there's a bump in the road or anything.
Wow.
And all those, back when they built the Northway, my father said the merchants in town didn't want an exit and entrance north of town. They wanted everybody to come through town. But it's gotten so the traffic is so bad. I mean, all those big 18-wheelers and logging trucks and extra wide things, they're not coming through town to shop. They really need to be out on the Northway. They have to have an entrance and an exit north of Lawrenceburg.
Okay.
Now, let's see, what else do I want to say? There's something else I want to say, but I can't even read my own writing, so I guess that's all right. Just wanted you to know my concerns.
Okay. How can we send in Richard, Jack, the comments for this? Is it,
It'll be on the website. Basically, you're just gonna need to email me directly. So don't leave a comment. Well, you can leave as many comments on Facebook as you like, but they won't
I'm
count.
not good with all this technology.
So,
I didn't grow up with this.
But I can tell you though that one of the things that I can't really see it right now, but the Richards Ave intersection that you were just talking about, that's one of the places we were actually saying to bring the curb out a little
Yeah.
bit. So there won't be a shoulder for people to pass you on. You might get rear-ended, that's the problem, but that's one of the places where we're saying, let's bring the curb out and make a grass area, no parking, no shoulder, so that people who are crossing the street have less of a distance. So I can actually show it to you, right here. So we're showing both of those driveways just in
Yeah,
front of here.
yeah,
So somebody came up here like that as you were trying to turn.
yeah, it's,
Yeah, so that would be, so when you turn, but you'll still be turning through that.
okay.
It won't completely solve the problem, but at the very least, it'll be
Well, they're gonna,
driving on,
they said they're
unless they're
gonna
gonna pop the
be
curb.
taking the storm drain now.
Yeah, so that would be one of those areas where we would have to look at storm drainage and
Yeah.
snow removal and things like that.
There-
But,
There would be additional snow storage area on the curb, on the
Okay.
shoulder,
yeah,
That would be
in
better.
the area of your driveway,
Oh,
with this plan at least.
okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I guess that's all I had to say.
Thank you.
Thank you for letting me speak.
Anyone else?
I'll get one more.
Sure.
You mentioned eliminating driveways. I think any idea what that means?
Oh, yeah.
We're- The one was, what we specifically called out was at the Sunoco. There's a super wide, basically unrestricted entrance to Route 9 there. We wanted to shorten that up. I think a typical commercial driveway, it's 30 to 35 feet wide to allow the larger trucks to get in. There, it's like 80 or 90 feet wide. So trying to prevent people from accessing the Route 9 really close to the traffic signal and try to get those conflicts moved away from the intersection. All right. Well, thank you for the opportunity here. Please read the report and provide any additional comments. Thank you for your time.
Appreciate it. Appreciate you coming up. We'll take a couple minutes. Yeah, we'll go on to the meeting.
yeah, absolutely.
Turn the-
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, there's no,
Yeah.
there's a lot of perspective.
Yeah, well, it's been 20 some years.
Mike?
I need some other activities.
Let's see, I think I've got that. I've been there, but I'm not familiar with it. And it's.
Thanks again.
Good night, thank you.
All right, we'll continue with our meeting. Next item of business, approve the minutes of the July 9th meeting. I'll make a motion by Brian. Second by Robert, any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, we'll go on reports of officers. Town clerk.
The monthly July report. Commercial fireworks, $25. Marriage license fees, $52.50. Town clerk bell jar licenses, $10. Clerk fees of $12.50. Certified copies, $180. Genealogy, $22. Landfill fees and punch cards, $26,349. IPP permits, $100. Short-term rentals, $300. Games of chance, $20. Dog licensing fees, $730. Building permits, $269.50. And septic permit of $25, bringing the total local shares remitted of $28,095.50.
Supervisor's report for July, we have on hand $3,292,340.40. Assessor.
Assessor's report for August. Preparation for the 2026 rolls has begun. During the next few months, sales and sales to assessment ratios will be reviewed and analyzed. Annual sales cycles are from July 1st to June 30th of the previous year. This process is in part used to determine the equalization rate along with corps for next year. It's also in the process of reviewing new construction permits, completion certificates, which will continue through March 2026. As of this date, August 6, 2025, I'm happy to report there were no small claims assessment reviews cases filled this year. However, although we had 2 grievance cases and the board produced both of them, there is a possibility that there may be at least last minute filings. The property owners have until August 14th to deliver any petitions to the assessor in August. I believe correctly.
Okay, Justice?
Judge Fisk had 104 cases, $8,238.50 in fine, $282 in fees, $3,115 in surcharge. Judge Carrillo had 38 cases, $3,165 in fine, $50 fees, $1,811 in surcharge. Total new cases for July was 71, total received $16,661.50. Town share $4,150.50.
Enforcement, or excuse me, we'll do planning.
There were 1 septic and 9 land use development permits issued the month of July. There's no zoning board meeting this month due to lack of applications. The planning board did meet on August 5th and reviewed the amended site plan for Bandstand Brewers. The board approved the amended plan wherein the curb cut originally proposed is not going to be pursued. The house will be demolished, the driveways will be widened and paved, the parking lot will be paved with proper drainage, a stop sign will be installed to the exit point of the parking area, and a split rail fence will be installed. In line with what we were just discussing, that's going to be much more accurate. Yeah, go ahead.
Jim, enforcement.
Reported a complaint of child abuse and no prior to location information was forwarded to Warren County and New York State Child Protective Services. Then a warning to the owner of 149 River Street, Grasshopper Heights, in the junkyard. Septic inspection at 2151 Harrington Hill installed and design photos were taken place in the file. Investigated from second complaint at 177 Forest Lake Road. Property owner was issued a violation and a court appearance on the short-term rentals. Responded to a complaint of fireworks for sale on Rocky Ridge on town property. None was found. Checked properties that were being mowed by the contractor. Mailed out requested short-term rental information. Issued a commercial fireworks permit for the Smoky to Jamboree. Issued a short-term rental permit for 22 Hickory Hill Road. Sent a notice to court to the owner of 27 Hastings Street for a junkyard. His warning was ignored. Notice of zoning was sent to the owner of 271 River Street and allowing the use of a camper to live in. Contacted Warren County Sheriff regarding a person camping along Hackensack Trail. Sent a complaint of C&D dumping was referred to DEC. Warning to 131 River Street for garbage accumulation on the property. Met with the property manager of 177 Forest Lake Road, discussed the violations they received. The violation stands as written. Check compliance at 131 River Street, monitored 8 Milton Avenue for short-term violation of compliance. Inspected a septic install at 32 Lake Avenue. Took photos and placed them in the file. Then a warning notice to the owner of 12 James Street for free-ranging chickens. Discussed the situation with the owner of a trailer park on Route 28 regarding the burned-out trailer there. Then a warning to the owner of 15 James Street for renting short-term rental without permit. Inspected a septic at 18 Sanford Street, took photos and placed those in the file. Checked the Quebec property for compliance with the court, cars are removed. Checked the Fox property on River Street, compliance was met. Received a complaint of unfenced pool, returned that over to Warren County. A complaint about child abuse and no car was found to be unfounded by Warren County.
Busy month. Highway.
In the month of July, we spent a lot of time getting the crossroad ready to be repaved with trimming of all branches and trees along the road, and grading the shoulders of the road down to grade, and re-ditching and replacing old and damaged culverts for proper water flow. It is scheduled to start the process of being repaved August 20th. We have also completed the paving spots of the Gold Street Storm Water Project. The last storm caused a lot of downed trees and road damage on the north end of town, which has all been cleaned up and repaired, along with the regular maintenance of roads and sidewalks. Respectfully submitted.
Okay, and these other reports will be posted on our website. Beautification, we have a 3-month June, July, August beautification report. They've been very busy, and I believe all their festivals have done very, very well at the recreation field. And then landfill, our landfill is in the black. We didn't get the bills in time to do the July, but for June, we're probably almost $20,000 ahead in the black. And we did have a employee, a summer person come in who was cleaning out a house up here. It was very complimentary of the staff up there. We thought it was very good. He couldn't believe coming from where he lives down street, come up here and have people actually help him unload the car, show him what to do. And he was cleaning out a house. So he had very complimentary of our landfill crews. And we think they do a good job. We didn't get a historian museum report this month. Parks and Rec was busy. Even though the weather's been very, very hot, they still have to do things, and they'll be getting ready for fall cleanup pretty quick. And then water, we're holding our own. They are going to start a new water line on Jenny Jill in maybe a week or 2 weeks' time, replacing a line on Jenny Jill. So they have enough keeping going. And luckily, we were taken off the EPA hit list for not having a permit. It was a mistake, but they were pretty concerned about that. But the EPA coming after our water department, but we're fine with what we're doing. And then sewer, we're doing well with our sewer, and they continue to do maintenance on the sewer district. So those are those. And then I would be remiss if I didn't introduce my friend from Lake George, Vinny Cressito. He's a supervisor at Lake George. Let's give him a hand. Every now and then he has to come to see how the other half is. Welcome, Vinny. New business, we need to rescind resolution 89 of 2025, awarding the bids for the resurface and painting of the 2 basketball courts at the recreation field. Carver Construction Incorporated declined to accept the bid on the line painting portion of that. So we need a motion to rescind it. Motion John, second by Brian to rescind the bid. Any discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Okay. Next, we're going to accept the bid of HMA Contracting Corp. For the resurfacing and painting portion of the basketball courts. The resurfacing amount of the basketball courts is $46,560, and the line painting portion is $27,100. The total bid cost is $73,600. And Jocko asked me last time it was worked on. I said probably before he could dunk the ball.
That's a long time.
It's been a long time. So somebody want to make a motion to accept the HMA bid?
I'll make that.
Brian, second John. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right. Next, we need a resolution to appoint Gregory Klinger as the sole assessor of town of Warrensburg for a 6-year term starting October 1st, 2025. Motion by John. Second by Robert. Any discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Next, we need a resolution to declare the 2014 F-250 Ford pickup truck for the water sewer departments as surplus. We'll sell that along with a snow plow on gov deals. Motion by Brian, second by John, to declare the truck as surplus. Any discussion? We've had very good luck selling our surplus equipment on gov deals. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay. Next, we have a request to enter into amended agreement with Warrensburg EMS. As you remember, last couple of meetings, we had discussion about the EMS contract. There was concerns that we didn't have a new written contract for 2025. They have since, we sent them what we thought was appropriate. And they did come back to us with one red line effect, is that's the reporting of the financials for monthly. They would like to do it every 3 months. And then we'll get the annual report in June. That's a little bit later, but that's basically the changes that EMS has asked for. I sent it out to the board. And also, you have your 2025 updated fee schedule. Are there any questions?
Yeah, I got a couple of questions.
Sure.
We voted on a contract last month. and It was given to us by our town attorney, and in it, it says they need to report every month. Well, obviously, we must feel that's important for them to report every month. They get town money. They got 4 bookkeepers. They don't give us a real lot of information, just basically the amount of runs and how much they make and what they spend. That's not a lot of information. I don't understand why they can't do it every month. So I'm not for it.
Okay. Any other discussions? Anybody else? Well, we have the red line version in our packet. We did get the 2025 fee schedule. What's the board's pleasure? Moved by John?
Yes.
Second by Brian to move the agreement forward with the revisions. Any other further discussion? All we have to do is voice vote on this one.
Councilperson Alexander.
Yes.
Councilperson Rounds.
Yes.
Supervisor Garrett.
Yes.
Councilperson Sutton.
No,
Councilperson Quintel.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We'll get that signed and over to them. Next, I've had a request for a private road. This is, name of the road would be Robbins Mountain Drive, and it's off the golf course road. If you remember, the property was once owned by Roger Combs and Witz there, Frankie Witz, and they've come in and asked to allow to put a private road on that property. It's their property, and they need us to approve it so they can get a 911 address. And this is the map they provided to town if anybody has any questions. It goes up around. It's their property. So, any discussion? Okay, then I guess we need a motion to approve the private road.
I make a
Motion by Robert, second by John, approve the road, Robbins Mountain Drive off of the golf course road. All those favors signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. All right. Next, we need a resolution request authorizing to lower the speed limit on Rural Road. And all we're doing is we will send this to Warren County. Warren County will send us to the state to get permission to lower the speed limit on River Road in the Hudson River Special Management District to 25 miles an hour.
And I
Go
do
ahead,
want to
Karen.
know, I think Bob might have mentioned, because he was here at the last meeting, we're not sure DOT can even go that low, and actually it was
Yeah,
apropos
just
of the
came up.
discussion earlier, so, I know that was a concern of Bob's, and I think he mentioned it at the last meeting, so we wanted to reiterate that, we can still ask, but there's no
Might not
guarantees
have-
they might not be able to.
Let's ask, we got it on record, we tried.
So
Yeah, and
we
I
have
think
a-
this was all part of DEC's recommendations and requests.
And I believe this will be a voice vote. Okay, good.
Councilperson Alexander.
Yes.
Councilperson Rounds.
Yes.
Supervisor Garrett.
Yes,
Councilperson Sutton.
yes.
Councilperson Quintel.
Yes.
Thank you.
okay, we'll get this out to Warren County.
Again, do you have a copy of the full resolution?
I do, yeah, thank you.
Just making sure.
Next, we have a resolution concerning dormitory authority of state of New York, pole barn construction. This pole barn has been constructed up there near the highway and landfill area. It's for the highway department to put their plows under the storage area for winter time. The pole barn is up. Now it's filing the final paperwork. And our attorney has prepared a resolution concerning this also. And then we get the sign off. And based on what I'm hearing from Albany, that they probably would move this to be approved in October once they get our things. So, and this is what he's voted to.
Councilperson Alexander. Oh, can I get a first and second?
I'll submit that motion.
No, Councilperson Alexander?
Yes.
Councilperson Brown?
Yes.
Supervisor Garrity?
Yes.
Councilperson Tubman?
Yes.
And Councilperson Finn.
Okay. Next, we need to set a public hearing to apply for another community block grant. The date of public hearing would be September 10th at 7 p.m. And we did authorize this once already, but we have to do a public hearing on it. And we have chosen Flatley Reed to reapply. They were very good on both CBG grants. They've got the Main Street grant and they also on the home. And then they're going to apply for more money for homes, I believe. So somebody want to make that, set that public hearing? John, Robert, public hearing will be September 10th at 7 p.m. Long-awaited permit from Department of Transportation to put our crosswalk in on State Route 418 has been approved. We were down there today with the construction company. They're going to actually start tomorrow. They're going to start to mobilize. We finally will get the crosswalk from the Richards Avenue parking lot across the Hudson Headwaters. So that work should start tomorrow. I did stop and go in and see the ladies at Hudson Headwaters. They need to steal a few parking spots just while the construction is going on. So hopefully they didn't think it was a big job. You would have thought we were building something because we've been a year waiting to get this permit. So, but we have it now. So also Labella is doing the closeout paperwork on the 11 King Street demolition project. That was a long drawn out affair, but it's completed now and we're up to snuff. The last thing was doing the other test holes and they didn't find anything on the property that would prevent us from doing the senior housing there in the future. I met with Warren County Planning Department and we're going to prepare an application to try to find somebody to come in and buy that property and put senior housing over there on 11 King Street. So Labella has completed and are filing the paperwork as we speak. We had a request for night photography off of Hackensack Mountain. I guess it's good billing for the Milky Way. And the request made by Vinny Otto. I don't know who the gentleman is. He sent it to the Chamber of Commerce, and I just need to know if the board will authorize that. I'll make sure they have certificate insurance in case he falls off the mountain. Okay. Somebody said last night you could see the rocket go over.
Yeah, I saw some pictures.
Yeah. So, maybe Vinny will get us some real good pictures.
Yeah.
Okay, Carver Construction had asked for more funds for the drainage project on over there at Gold Street, or Gold Avenue. And we have a letter, you have a letter in your packet from our engineers. They feel that this increase to this addendum to the contract is not warranted. They explained their reasons in their letter, and I believe they sent the letter to Carver. Reason why they think we should deny the change order. Is there any discussion amongst both? I said, I guess we need a resolution authorizing me to sign any documents that we're going to design. So, motion by John, second by Brian. Any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. And this was a request for $13,510.34 more on the project. Also, I've been asked that the town pay the Meals on Wheels delivery drivers extra money for the routes. It's been a real tough job to find anybody to volunteer for the Meals on Wheels. I checked with my colleagues in Lake George. They did the same thing on their route in the town of Lake George. We have two routes that operate out of here. Warren County does pay the volunteers mileage, but this would be a stipend. They would go on our payroll, and I checked with our bookkeeper, and it would assure us to have somebody to deliver those meals, which are really important to the people in our area. So just being in the Warrensburg area. So if you're all okay with that, how about our resolution?
Absolutely.
Don? Second by Jock, to pay $35, and I will give you the names of the drivers when I get them all locked down. All those favors signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Before I do the last thing, which I got to recuse myself from, I'd like to go over some of our projects because we still have a lot of projects going on in the town. This is a quick synopsis, and this is from our engineering firm. Jenny Jo Loop, we have grant, project phase 2. This is putting the water line up on Jenny Jo Loop. That's a 1-inch line. It's going to go to, I believe, a 4-inch line. We do have a new house going up there, but in order to supply ample amount of water for that, we need to do that. The pole barn, that's basically complete. We just got to build the grade up so they can get into it. Ballards have been installed just in case our guys get a little sleepy and want to run into the side of it. We got some ballards put up in front of that. Richards Avenue crosswalk, we met today on that crosswalk project, so that will start tomorrow. And then the Gold Avenue stormwater, it is complete so far. Brian, you're over there. You want to? It's work.
It's working fine. The town guys came and they did the final repairs of the asphalt. They did a great job. And we had some rain, everything's going where it's supposed to. Yep.
The next part of that would be to go to the King Street side and ask, that's County Street, and work with Kevin Hagos in the county to try to do something on that. At least we have a manhole that's opened up now, and it took a lot of water, so we can continue to try to work in that area. And then the fish factory, we've had a study out for about 1.5 years on doing a new well. We have some funding through Lake George Regional Planning to install a new well. We want to install a new well on this side of town because, as I stated before, most of our water comes up by the county home down Horkin Avenue. If we ever had a problem there, we'd probably run the town out of water, which wouldn't be good. So we've been looking around for about 1 year, and we've had the hydrologists, and they found some areas, and then we had them take a look at the fish factory. And I've got permission from Warren County. We're going to go drill a test well at the fish factory property. If it works out real good for us and the quality of the water, and we can get the yield we're looking for, we'll go back to the county and see if we can get a production well put on the fish factory property. So those are some of the projects we're still doing. And then also, we're always looking for advancement for the town. We talked to Ethan in the planning department. They've been doing very, very well getting grants for us. And we are looking at potentially looping our water line toward the southern end of town to go across Main Street up and then go down Harrington Hill Road. It's in the town of Lake George. We will work with the town of Lake George, but we're going to go out and seek funding for that because we think we can. Not only would it be better for everybody to loop the water system, but also maybe we can get some economic development, and that section of Lake George to help Lake George out.
Will they share their money with us?
No, but that's, so we still have all these projects going on, and we're still working on them, and we don't stop. Well, hopefully we'll get some finished, but I think we're probably putting an explanation point. I have to recuse myself for this next one because it's a request for absentee tax for the fire company. John, you want to take
Yeah,
over?
resolution request from Warrensburg Volunteer Fire Company, Proctor with occupancy tax funds in the amount of $6,466.92 for expenses and smoke years jamboree held on July 25th and 26th of this year. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make that.
Brian,
A second.
Jack. Any discussion, fellas?
Great fireworks.
It sure was. Good. The whole show was amazing every year. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Carried.
All right.
All set, chief.
All right. We have one budget modification tonight. It's in the amount of $250. It's coming for contingency and it's going into beach contractual to cover electrical costs for the balance of the year. Somebody want to make a motion to approve the budget modification? All right, Robert, second by Brian. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, next, we have warrant number 8. Warrant number 8 tonight, it's $193,181.71. Any motion to pay the bills on warrant number 8? John? Brian? Any discussion on any of the bills? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, next I'll open up to any public comment. Anybody wish to publicly comment on anything?
Yes.
Please, you can come to that mic. Thank you.
I'm Susan Matzner. I'm here representing Richards Library. I just want to talk about some of the special projects. I know that we submit a report every month. We are collecting for school supplies. We have a school supply drive that started August 11th, is running through August 23rd at the library. And we're looking for grades pre-K to 12. And we are open every day until 6, so please come by. And we have pickup scheduled for August 28th. We have lots of crayons and single subject notebooks. So we're looking for paper, folders, index cards, anything that people want to contribute, pencils. We would appreciate that. We've got some upcoming programs for seniors using Senior Planet through OATS, which is the Older Adult Technical Services. We are tomorrow getting to know your smartphones. Sometimes it feels those phones are smarter than we are. And that'll be tomorrow at 2 o'clock, and then on August 21st, exploring and downloading apps. So again, these are open to seniors. We've had added some programs for children in August, and then we'll be going back to regular programming in September. We have our calendar posted every month, and I know that we submit that as well. So thank you.
Thank you.
What's the age of the seniors?
Um,
Can it go down to 55?
Yes.
Just wondering.
You're 50 up.
Anybody else
Actually,
want
technically,
wish to
according
address
to
the board?
AARP, it's 50.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I believe on the 27th of August, Public Health is doing a car seat. They're gonna check out car seats at the firehouse. It's put on by Public Health. I think they're in Chestertown on the 26th, and they'll be at our fire station on the 27th of August. I think it runs 1 to 4 p.m. There's a flyer out there in the lobby. Also, GPI is going to finish paving River Street. That will start from, I believe, Ridge. I think it's going to go from Ridge Street all the way down to English Brook And they're gonna do a repaving job there. We did the sidewalks last year. They weren't happy with how the road and the sidewalks melted together. And so New York GPI, New York State will be repaving 418 to make that a better area. And that's supposed to start, I believe, next week. They're meeting Friday on that. Anybody else on anything? Nobody? Okay, the fire company will have a takeout only barbecue. It's gonna be Saturday in September, what is that, 27th?
Yep.
Last Saturday?
Yes.
On the 27th of September at the firehouse, serving at 3:30 PM, will be a takeout only chicken barbecue. So mark your calendars. Like I said, we'll be set up for reservations only, so. That being said, nothing else tonight? Nobody?
I got a pet peeve I wanna ask about.
Yeah, go.
We're doing a good job making people mow their lawns and everything, but it drives me crazy that Tops or Graydon, whichever they are tonight, they don't bring their sand up. It's the sand that's from the middle of August, it's still all sand parking lot. And every time it rains, it's washing out into the street. It's dangerous for motorcycles. Wind blows and sand blasts everything, so I don't know if we could just.
We'll put that on Jimmy's list.
We
Sorry.
gotta put it in town codes. I can only enforce what's in the book.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But I think it's owned by an outfit out of New Jersey. They own the property, but we can still get a hold of it. We tried to get Rite Aid cleaned up. They did some work. We still can't seem to get them to power wash that bowl. So I don't know. We keep working at it, so. Okay, nothing else. Thank you all for coming tonight. Motion to adjourn. Thank you.
All right.
What about Sticky Wicket? Or just
I have to
something?
do
And training.
Yeah.
That was a long one.
Yeah,
That was a long one.